watching Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. This is the Big 12 on ESPN. And tonight from Morgantown, it's the Big 12 home opener for the West Virginia Mountaineers as they play host to the Cincinnati Bearcats. And with that, we welcome you inside Hope Coliseum, courtside alongside King McClure. I'm Rich Hollenberg. So, King, we know these are two of the best defenses in the country. They will be standing tall tonight, but offensively, it's the two smallest players on the floor that we're taking note of. West Virginia's Honor Huff, one of the best three-point shooters in the country.
Yeah, let's start with your honor, because when you can knock down shots the way that he knocks them down, you got to give him that level of respect. This guy is a three-point shooter, always hunting it all the time, but he's not just a catch-and-shoot guy, Rich. He can get it off the bounce. He loves to step back. If you let him see one go in, you can be in for a long, long night, because he's that level of shooter. But here's my problem. He tends to fall in love with the three-point line and doesn't really do too much else. Let's see if he can impact the game tonight in other ways outside of just shooting the deep balls. But on the other side, a guy that's going to guard him, look at his numbers. Look how much better he's gotten on the offensive side. But defensively is where they're going to need his production tonight. Guarding Honor Huff, he's in for a tough task.
Both teams coming off Big 12 opening losses. Cincinnati lost at home to number 7 Houston. Mountaineers lost on the road at number 3 Iowa State. But West Virginia comes in with the 6th best scoring defense in the country. And the Bearcats, for their part, have the number 6 defense according to Ken Palm analytics. It's West Virginia in the home whites, Cincinnati in their road black. The tip is up. And it's going to be Cincinnati Bearcats basketball. The officials tonight, Tony Padilla, Brett Smith, and Paul Jean. A lob on the opening possession goes awry, and here comes Trayson Eaglestaff, 52 in white. The Mountaineers using almost the same starting lineup throughout their first month of the season. Eaglestaff gets the team off to a good start.
And that's what they need from Eaglestaff. The past few games, he's been really aggressive early. He needs that same level of intensity on the offensive side throughout the whole game.
And he is a scoring savant coming over from North Dakota after 3 years there. Your Cincinnati starting lineup featuring 2 versatile bigs, Mustafa Cham and Baba Miller, a rebounding machine between the two of them. An early 0 for 2 for the Bearcats offense, as West Virginia will retain possession with 23 on the shot clock.
And if you notice, when you get the ball on the side, on the outer thirds, Rich, Cincinnati will put 2 on the basketball, very similar to what Iowa State did last game. You have to get rid of it and hit the short roll.
Here's Jasper Floyd coming over from North Texas like his head coach did. Nice feed underneath, but Obioha can't finish it. And here's Jizzle James, 2 in black. Left-handed 3 off the mark by the former Mountaineer, Sincere Harris.
And they're going to give Sincere Harris that shot all day, every day. He only shoots 21 from 3. West Virginia is living with that.
Here's Brendan Lorient, missed the last game. The North Texas transfer back in the lineup tonight. Eaglestaff feeling it early.
And when we talked to Ross Hodge, he said he feels like one of these games, Eaglestaff could really show out and have a big night. Is tonight the night? We will see.
One of 2 players in Division I basketball in the last 4 years with a 50-burger. He did that last year for North Dakota.
Hey, 50 is a lot of points, Rich. I don't care what level you're at.
Jizzle James. And so far, the Cincinnati offense skunked by this West Virginia D. Here's Honor Huff, who King talked about at the open. The bounce pass. Lorient lost the handle. And it's Harris up ahead for the first 2 of the game for the Bearcats.
That's where Cincinnati excels. Creating turnovers, getting out in transition, and scoring early. That's their best level of offense.
Cincinnati forces 13 turnovers a game. Here's Floyd, 2 feet in the painted area. Bounce pass to Lorient, and he almost punctuates it. Off the back iron. Big to big passing, and that one's blocked by Obioha. and this one's stolen away. It's going to be Cincinnati basketball. Ho-hum, just another West Virginia-Cincinnati game.
You talk about attacking the rim with aggression. This is what you want to see. I love the way Lorian comes in. Don't be afraid of the shot blocker. And then on the opposite side, Big O with a big block.
So Obioha and Eaglestaff take a seat. Now it's the freshman DJ Thomas, number 5, on the floor, as is Chance Moore, number 13, who led them in scoring against Iowa State. Nice feed, extra pass, and Celestine can't cap it off. Here's Thomas. He's joined by fellow freshman Amir Jenkins, number 2 in white. And freshman to freshman.
And those are the shots that you can get against this Cincinnati defense. When they put 2 on the basketball, if you can hit the short roll, good things will happen.
An early 7-2 lead for the Mountaineers in their Big 12 home opener. Baba Miller with the easy flush, his first 2 of the night.
And we see another beautiful execution of the pick and roll on the side. Clear the corner out, no backside tag, easy pocket pass.
Miller leads the Bearcats in scoring and rebounding, averaging a double-double this season, 7 of them on the year so far for Miller. West Virginia comes in 9-5 on the year. Cincinnati 8-6. And there's Honor Hunt entering the chat.
The separation, the step back right there. Once again, he is a tough shot maker.
He's 4th in the nation in 3-pointers made after leading the nation in that category 1 year ago.
You have the advantage down low if you can get it to Baba.
Instead, it's the other big man. Mustafa Cham chips in with 2.
And that's the problem that the Twin Towers cause down low for Cincinnati. They both have good touch around the rim, and at 7 foot, you don't see too many front courts in the country with that level of size.
Cham, a Big 12 veteran, started 34 games last year for UCF. Here's Moore, the St. Bonaventure transfer. 8 on the shot clock. This is a West Virginia team who is very judicious offensively. There's a timeout. First time out of the game, King.
We are in for a treat, Rich. Clear the corner out. Day-Day Thomas on a pocket pass. Baba with the flush. And we talked about him in the open. Your Honor, give me 3.
Now basketball is...
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. Alongside King McClure, I'm Rich Hollenberg inside Hope Coliseum. It's the Bearcats visiting the Mountaineers. Let's take a look at Wes Miller, the head coach for the Cincinnati Bearcats. 5th year in the Queen City, made 2 NCAA tournaments as head coach at UNC Greensboro, but still looking for his first trip to the tournament as the Bearcats head man. On the other side is Ross Hodge, first year in Morgantown, widely regarded as one of the top defensive minds in the country. He's won nearly 80% of these games in his 8 years as a head coach, from the JUCO level and now all the way up to the Big 12. Right now, Ross Hodge's defense holding the Bearcats to just 3 for 8 from the field. Here's James. He was reinstated on December 17th. This is his 5th game back. Here's a turnover forced by the West Virginia defense. What's the over-under on deflections tonight, King?
I mean, both defenses are so sound within what they love to do. When they plug the gaps, they're physical. They really get you out of a rhythm, and you better get that man out of a rhythm because he's seen too early. You talked about him in the open. He sees one go in. You could be in for a long night. He's feeling himself right now.
2 for 2 from 3 for number 3. And now he comes up with a steal.
Very careless with the basketball early on.
Chance Moore takes it to the cup and gets an and one opportunity.
Chance Moore, you have to know when he gets into the game, he is an energy booster for this West Virginia team. He's not a shooter, so what does he love to do? He loves to put his head down, get to the rim, so you better be ready to embrace the contact because he is seeking it out. And right there, this is the new rule, the continuation. You take the one step after the referee calls the foul, it's a bucket this year.
In his first start 1 game ago, he had 17 points and 7 rebounds against number 3 Iowa State. Can't complete that 3-point play, but his bucket gives West Virginia a 9-point lead. And Tony Padilla calls a foul away from the basketball. That's going to be on Amir Jenkins.
And right now, Rich, I think this is the time where Day Thomas has to be inserted. He has to be more aggressive right now. Let's see if they can find ways to put him in positions to try to score the ball right now.
There's another freshman, Sean Abayev. He's a McDonald's All-America, misses his first shot of the game. It's out of bounds, and it'll be Mountaineers basketball. West Virginia's offense clicking early, King. 4 of their last 4 from the field. And now Obioha and Eaglestaff check back in. So Brennan Lorient inbounds to Jasper Floyd, a pair of former UNT Mean Green members last year with Ross Hodge. Here's Huff. Another tough 3, and he gets fouled for his efforts.
And that's what makes them tough. Typically good shooters, Rich. They understand the amount of separation, one, that they need to be able to create. However, number 2, if you get too close to them, they understand how to flop. They understand how to draw fouls. So you better not touch them, and you better allow them to land. Because if not, Honor Huff understands how to get himself to the free throw line.
Sincere Harris, an all-defensive player last year with the Mountaineers out of the Big 12. Coming up at 9 Eastern on ESPN, freshman phenom Darren Peterson is back for number 17 Kansas. They host 11-3 TCU at Allen Fieldhouse. It's also available on the ESPN app. I got to watch Darren Peterson last Saturday in Orlando go off. 23 points in the first half, 26 in all, before he had to take a seat due to a minutes restriction.
Hey, that's a bad boy right there, Rich. That is a bad man.
Well, you talk about historic starts in the Big 12. Michael Beasley, Trae Young, Kevin Durant. Darren Peterson saying, hold my beer, boys. I'm sure Jamie Dixon is cooking up something for him tonight. James off the mark, 1 and done for the Bearcats.
If you're Cincinnati, the ball is not falling. You have to get it done on the defensive side and get stops.
Eaglestaff, again, first miss of the game for Trayson Eaglestaff. Celestine had it knocked away by Brendan Lorient. Harris turns it over, but a foul is called.
This is also an area in which Wes Miller was extremely concerned, Rich. He said in moments like this, they don't have a go-to scorer. They don't have a guy who can bail them out and they can run their offense through. They're still seeking out who is going to be the go-to scorer in moments where they run into scoring droughts.
Here's Celestine. Since he hasn't scored in over 2 minutes in this game right now. Four to shoot. Jizzle's got it. But he can't convert. Offensive rebound and a fresh 20 seconds for the Bearcats. Abayev, guarded three. But it's off the mark, and it's cleared by Obioha.
West Virginia's defense has been on point. We talk about Cincinnati being a top 10 defense in the country. Well, right now, that's what West Virginia is looking like.
Here's a turnover, a steal by James, and it forces the foul by Jasper Floyd.
Here's your timeout.
Timeout on the floor, 11:40 to go in the first half. The home opener for the Mountaineers, and they're off to a terrific start.
Sometimes you just have to pull it forward against the net.
Well, Honor Huff has gotten off to a very, very hot start. It started with this tough shot. Too late on the contest. You let him get it off. That's just not good enough for a shooter of his caliber. And then if he sees one, he can hit a second one. And then he can get to the free throw line. Honor Huff, 8 points already. He's been really, really impressive, especially coming off of a game against Iowa State where he really didn't have his best moment. And they really made it tough for him the whole game.
And unfortunately, Cincinnati playing a little bit short-handed tonight. They're without the services of that man in the gray sweatshirt. That's Kerr Kriisa, who Mountaineer fans certainly know. He spent a couple of years here before going to Kentucky and then transferring to Cincinnati. Separated his shoulder early in that Houston game. He is not available tonight. Here's Huff. This time he gets inside the three-point line and converts.
And that's what I'm talking about. When you don't limit yourself to just being a three-point shooter, you make yourself that much harder to guard.
Game high 10 right now for Honor Huff, who was 1 for 8 from 3 against the Cyclones defense last time out. That three off the mark, one and done. West Virginia looking to add to a 9-0 run right now. Eagle staff, good hands by Baba Miller. They've got numbers. Miller, the lob. Sincere Harris, the finish.
And that is what you have to do. That's what you have to rely on. If you're Cincinnati right now, in the half court, your offense is not great. So what does that mean, Rich? That means you have to get stops. And when you get those stops, convert those into easy buckets on the opposite side. Good pass right there by Baba Miller. Good finish by Sincere Harris. But it starts on the defensive side. That's how you climb your way back into games. When you're on the road in an environment like West Virginia and your offense is not falling the way you want it to, you have to start and take extra pride on the defensive side.
Harris misses the chance at the three-point play, but got his own back. And now Cincinnati a chance to go on a little mini run as Eaglestaff fouls Abayev and will send him to the line. That's 2 quick fouls on Trace and Eaglestaff.
And that right there, this isn't a smart foul. I mean, you know Abayev, when he shoots the ball, he elevates. So the one thing you don't want to do is climb up under a shooter. You want to be able to contest without fouling, and you know Ross Hodge is not happy with that one.
So second time tonight, we have a player going to the line to shoot 3 free throws. Abayev can't connect on the first. Well, we have a women's basketball triple header Sunday afternoon. Number 16, North Carolina and Notre Dame start us off at 1. Then LSU hosts second-ranked Texas. And the afternoon wraps up with Duke at Stanford in Palo Alto. Quite the triple header. So the freshman Abayev goes 1 for 3 to end the West Virginia run. It's 19-9 Mountaineers. They have led from the opening tip. Eaglestaff stops on a dime. Can't drop that 2-point jumper, and here comes Baba Miller leading the break for the Bearcats. Good pass. Thomas. Abayev thought better of the 3.
I feel like that's the one you have to shoot in rhythm. You got what you wanted. You had the advantage. Those are the ones you have to take. Wow.
Oh, and somehow that ball went in. They're going to credit Baba Miller for the basket, I'm sure, but I think a West Virginia Mountaineer got his last hands on that.
Rich, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good.
Huff. Another 3.
And that was a great unselfish decision right there by your point guard. He had the open look. What does he do? Give it to his shooter that's already hit two. Good decision right there by Jasper Floyd.
That jumper off the mark. Another one-and-done possession offensively for Cincinnati. 0 for 8 from three-point range to start. This is not a team that shoots it exceptionally well. Came into this game 280th in the country in three-point percentage. 9 minutes to go in the half. 5 on the shot clock. Now there'll be 4.1 on the clock as Abayev knocks it out of bounds.
Let's go back to this accidental bucket, because this is supposed to be a turnover. But Baba Miller at 7 foot just gets the tap on it, and it just happens to go in. This might be the weirdest 2 points he's ever had.
Floyd will trigger the inbounds for the Mountaineers to Chance Moore. Calls his own number. Off the mark, here comes Celestine. Thomas hesitated and hits. Day Thomas's first bucket of the night.
And he's just picking up where he left off. 15 points last game, shooting 46 for 3 on the year. They needed that.
Day Thomas has had a major improvement from last year to this. He gives Cincinnati their first three-pointer of the night. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive. This is the Big 12 on ESPN, and this is now Hope Coliseum. You and I both rolled up to this grand old building and forgot that it's not WVU Coliseum anymore.
Yeah, and I guess I never thought twice about it. Like I just accepted the name. So it feels a little different to see the Hope.
Mountaineers are 9-0 on this court so far this season as Honor Huff goes off the window for that three, but it won't count.
Brennan Lorient checks back in for the Mountaineers.
So now 5 Mountaineer turnovers. They average just a little over 10 turnovers a game. Both of these defenses, 2 of the most ferocious in the country. Here's Miller, baseline.
Good pass.
Feeds it, and McKinley chips in, and that is a big plus for Wes Miller.
And that's the skill set that Miller has. At 7 foot, he can really put the ball on the floor and create an advantage, so when the double team comes, he drops it off to a big and gets the easy 2. That's the skill set that so many people love when they talk about Baba Miller.
Miller has 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 dimes already. Lorient misses from close range. And the Bearcats come away with it. Freshman Keyshawn Tillery with the grab. And a foul on the floor on the Mountaineers. We have a timeout. Cincinnati chopping wood. They've got it to within 2 field goals with 7:40 to go.
Over on ESPN.
How about that, Phil? The Duke Blue Devils and Cam Boozer, another fabulous freshman in what has been so far, King, the year of the freshman in college basketball.
Arguably has been the best player in all college basketball. The most consistent. He produces every single time he steps on the floor. You know what to expect with Cam Boozer.
And of course, you're looking at Wes Miller, who knows all about the Duke Blue Devils, if only because that was his arch rival in college. He's a North Carolina Tar Heel, went from walk-on to captain when he was in his playing days there, and won a national championship with the Tar Heels. That ball's off. Thomas again. Can't get it to go. Another offensive rebound by the Bearcats. Step back 3. Celestine, good.
Two-point shot by.
Right now, you see the energy of Cincinnati slowly starting to rise. 2 offensive rebounds right there, which leads to a Celestine 3. The greatest shots are usually second chance shots.
An 8-0 Cincinnati run. They are right back in it. And Honor Huff cannot be stopped.
He just hit some of the toughest shots that you will see. He's a joy to watch.
A game-high 16 for Honor Huff. Transferred over from Chattanooga by way of Brooklyn, New York. That three is good, and all of a sudden, Jalen Celestine is saying, can you top this?
And right now, if you're West Virginia, you know there's not a lot of shooting on the floor for Cincinnati. But the one guy that you always have to be aware of is Jalen Celestine. So when Baba Miller is getting doubled in the mid-post, you can't leave him open.
Jenkins gets it over to Moore. Now Thomas. Tip ball out of bounds, Cincinnati basketball. Turnover number 6 for the Mountaineers.
Substitution checking in for the Mountaineers, Harlan Obioha.
And now the big man, Harlan Obioha, checks back in for Ross Hodge and the Mountaineers.
You know, one thing we haven't touched on is when you talk about McKinley, that's one thing that Wes Miller said. If he had been healthy, he thinks they win a few more games because of his energy and what he brings to the table. And you can tell ever since he's been on the floor, he's completely changed the game from an offensive rebound standpoint.
Celestine tried to force it across the baseline. Cincinnati retains possession. Good shot fake by Day-Day. And the freshman Tillery comes up off to the right. A jump ball, it's going to be possession arrow, West Virginia.
And you see every time a shot goes up for Cincinnati, who is in the mix? McKinley. That is what he brings to the table, and that's what Wes Miller loves about this young man. He loves his energy. He loves the physicality in which he attacks the glass with every single possession.
He missed his last 4 games for the Bearcats. His first practice was yesterday since their loss to University of Georgia, seemingly months ago. But he is, as you said, an energy giver to this Bearcats club.
Look at Baba Miller sitting down on the point guard right now.
Here's Huff working on Thomas. What a matchup. Huff comes up short in the paint. And a chance to tie with a 3 for Cincinnati. This is the 25th or 26th all-time meeting between these two. West Virginia holds a 13-12 all-time lead. And we're going the other way, says Tony Padilla.
On the whistle bell, they stop at Shaw, who's first, team's third.
I think that might have been a moving screen. Had to be a moving screen.
Yeah, it's on Cham. That's the 3rd team foul on Cincinnati. So relatively cleanly played first half.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw that, but Tony Padilla is one of the best in the game.
Here's Lorient. Huff. He's in range anytime he touches the ball. 8 on the shot clock.
And you love to see consistency right here. You get a moving screen on one end, and then the opposite side, West Virginia does the same thing. We love when referees are consistent.
Chance Moore checks in for the Mountaineers. Checking in for the Bearcats, Sean White.
And now Sincere Harris. A late substitution by Wes Miller with 4:43 to go in what has been a spirited first half between Big 12 rivals Cincinnati and West Virginia. Both teams lost their Big 12 openers to top 10 teams, Cincinnati to Houston, and West Virginia lost at Iowa State. Both trying to grind out a win in their second games in Big 12 play. Double teamed in the post is Cham. And he's wrapped up, and the West Virginia bench loves it.
That is a great way to go right there and dig on the backside by Honor Huff. As soon as Cham takes that dribble or turns the opposite way, who is right there? Huff is coming down low. And if you bring the ball low, you can cause yourself a lot of problems. You can put yourself in a bad situation.
Honor Huff in amongst the trees there. Not afraid to get his nose broken. Abayev off the mark. But again, kept alive by the Cincinnati Bearcats. Here's Cham. Nice look, Sean to Jizzle James.
When you have two smaller guards trying to double a guy at 7 foot like Chom, he has enough skill to be able to look opposite and throw a pass on the money to Jizzle.
6 offensive rebounds now for the Bearcats. That one brings them to within 1. Jenkins chips in with another 3.
And that's not something that Amir Jenkins does a lot. He's a guy that loves to get downhill. However, when he does do it, he does that efficient clip at 50% from the three-point line.
6 first-half threes for the Mountaineers. They average just 8.4 a game. The one more, James. Short again on the 3. We've seen that earlier tonight as well. Now Huff, catch and release. You expect it to go in when he shoots it from anywhere. Here's Harris, the former Mountaineer. Ohio native, gets his own miss. Still can't get it to go. Floyd lost the footing, and it's Cincinnati basketball.
You have numbers, you got to score.
Harris gets fouled, and a hard foul by Obioha.
That looked painful. Running into a wall like Big O, and we hope that Sincere is okay.
He ran into a wall, and he ran into our cameraman.
Good pass. Big fella to Jizzle, and on the opposite side. Amir Jenkins, you don't do it a lot, but you're showing you're more than capable.
Thank you very much, Phil. We know Norm Roberts can appreciate Honor Huff because they're both New York point guards.
How good is it to hear Norm Roberts' voice, my man, Norm Roberts.
We miss him on the sidelines, long time
my
assistant to Bill Self, but now he's killing it in the studio as well. Sincere Harris, after that tough fall where he hit his head, comes back and knocks down the first free throw. West Virginia has led the entirety of this game, but Cincinnati has chipped away and is now within a couple of points of tying this one with 2:40 to go in the first half. Cincinnati just 3 for 14 from 3, King, but 12 points in the paint courtesy of 7 offensive rebounds.
That's been their best offense. Just getting it off the rim, second chance points. That has been the reason why they've slowly climbed back into this game.
There's Thomas. 10 on the timer. Moore takes it in and gets an and one opportunity for his hard work.
Chance Moore is so hard to stop. And scouting report, this is why it's so important to pay attention to the scouting report, because it tells you what guys are going to do. You know he's not a shooter, so why are you closing out so hard? Because when you close out that far, Chance Moore is way too good, way too strong, way too physical.
Just to punctuate that, King, 2 for 11 on the season from 3-point range, 0 for his last 8. So chances are better than good. He's going to put it on the deck. He did, and now he completes the 3-point play.
And we used to call guys like that short closeouts. That means you don't go past the free throw line on dudes like that.
Touch off the glass, no good for Jizzle James. Look out for Honor Huff in the deep right corner. Now he comes up on the wing. Here's the freshman Jenkins. Huff guarded by Thomas. 10 to shoot for the Mountaineers. Moore again. Good hands by Celestine. Out of bounds. Oh, and they call the foul instead on Jalen Celestine.
And that's just not a good foul right there by a veteran player in Celestine. We just talked about how Chance Moore is not a shooter. So late in the shot clock, if you can get a guy like Chance Moore to take a contested mid-range jumper, you win that possession regardless if it goes in or if it doesn't.
Moore misses the first. Well, the college football playoff semifinals on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Thursday, Miami taking on Ole Miss in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. And next Friday, Oregon squares off against #1 Indiana in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Coverage of both games kicks off at 7:30 Eastern.
Who you got?
It's hard to pick against Indiana, I'll tell you what, but it's really hard to beat a team twice in a season. I'm going to Oregon in the big upset. What about you?
I'm going with Trinidad Chambliss, the way he was playing the other day. I'm a prisoner of the moment, for sure.
Recency bias.
Recency bias all the way here, especially when it comes to football.
Yeah. Little hand fighting between a couple of freshmen. Jenkins and Tillery, toe-to-toe. Now it's Eagle staff. Counting down to 1 minute to go in the first half. Here's Thomas, dribble handoff to Huff. Releases, too strong that time. A fight for the loose ball. And this is exactly what you would expect in Big 12 play, especially when it's West Virginia and Cincinnati. It's going to stay Mountaineers basketball on the possession arrow.
That's a good shot by Huff. He makes those. But that's what happens if you don't block out. If you ball watch and just try to turn it into a jumping contest, you allow chances for offensive rebounds.
Here's Eagle staff near half court. Huff from the logo. Lost the handle, 5 to shoot. Spins in the paint, the floater, no good. But he gets it back with the tap. And Chance Moore traveled with the basketball. The ninth turnover of the half.
And Rich, that was a better job by Baba Miller on the closeout. He didn't overexert himself, which caused Chance Moore to think about it. He thought about taking the three, caused confusion, forced him to travel. Better job on a closeout right there by Miller.
And now the aforementioned energy giver. Tyler McKinley checks back in, number 24 in black. And a timeout is called. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. Come on back for the final 33.4 from Morgantown. Back inside Hope Coliseum on the campus of West Virginia University alongside King McClure. I'm Rich Hollenberg. 33.4 to go in the half. So about a 3.5-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Cincinnati 0 for their last 5 from the field and 1 for their last 8. We're looking to close to within 1 possession before going to the locker room.
With McKinley in the game, when the shot goes up, pay attention to the offensive glass.
Jizzle James rocking the baby to sleep against Amir Jenkins. 5 to shoot. James, nowhere to go. Finds McKinley with 1 on the shot clock. And Tyler McKinney contributes again.
This is why Wes Miller rants and raves about this young man. Just look at the hands right here. This isn't an easy pass because Jizzle throws it up a little bit high, and then you got a guy like Obiaho pressuring you, pushing you out a little bit so you can finish through the contact. McKinley does so much good, and when you talk to Wes Miller, he said if McKinley is healthy, he's a guy that's fighting for this starting position. You could see him starting by the end of the season.
Had a knee injury last year that forced him to redshirt off the mark. 3 seconds to go in the half. Here's Moore. And the Mountaineer musket goes off. That signals halftime in Morgantown. West Virginia with a 31-28 lead over Cincinnati. They have led from Jump Street, and they have been led by Honor Huff with 16 points. That'll do it for the first half between West Virginia and Cincinnati. Now we go to the studio. Phil Murphy and Norm Roberts. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive Insurance. This is the Big 12 on ESPN. West Virginia Mountaineers 9-2 coming in when they have a lead at the half, and that's where they find themselves as we get set to start the second half. A 3-point lead for the Mountaineers over the Cincinnati Bearcats. Back inside Hope Coliseum in Morgantown, West Virginia, alongside King McClure. I'm Rich Hollenberg. So West Virginia went 6 for 11 from three-point range in the first half. 4 of those threes by Honor Huff.
Honor Huff put on a show, and this is what you expect. This is what you need from him if you are Ross Hodge of the Mountaineers. You need this guy to be able to show up every single game. Too many times their offense gets a little stagnant, but when he's rolling, it's the opposite. But on the flip side, Cincinnati really struggled early on in the game. They could not get the ball to put the ball through the hole. So what they had to do, they had to get offensive boards. They got 7 offensive boards, which led to 6 second chance points, and McKinley was a huge part of that. His energy is what brought them back into this game, and we're in for a treat in the second half, Rich.
It's a close one. West Virginia led by as many as 13. But if you remember back to last year, this game played at the end of the season. West Virginia led by 9 with 34 seconds left. And some way, somehow, Cincinnati clawed their way back to have one shot to tie the game. The shot didn't fall. West Virginia won, but it was another typically tight-knit game between these two Big 12 rivals. Cincinnati starts the second half with possession. A 3 can tie it. Thomas thought about the 3. 10 on the shot clock. James, nowhere to go. Gets it to Baba Miller with 5 on the shot clock. And not necessarily the one you want taking that shot.
And that's good defensive discipline right there. There were a few times in which West Virginia could have got out of position, but they stayed rooted. They didn't bite for pump fakes, and they got the stop. Oh.
I wouldn't necessarily call that a lob attempt. That's a turnover, number 10 for West Virginia. The follow, Chom can't get it to go, but he taps it back. Day Thomas for 3. Yes, and we have a tie ball game.
Another offensive rebound. Second chance points is why Cincinnati climbed back into this ball game. No doubt, that was the point of emphasis for Ross Hodge at halftime. We have to block out. Message was not received on that last play.
West Virginia has never trailed in this game, but tonight they are tied for the first time. Eaglestaff off the mark. Cincinnati with a chance to take their first lead of the game. Thomas got it again. Back-to-back triples from Day Thomas.
And you saw in the last game to close out the first half, he went on a 12-0 run by himself. He has the ability, when we talk about Honor Huff and how he can heat up, Day Thomas is the same way.
Huff, he heard you. Honor Huff's got 5 triples tonight in a game-high 19 now. Heat check from Thomas off the mark. Here comes Huff up the right side. And Huff gets fouled by Jizzle James.
Let's take a look at Day Thomas and what he can do. Right there, Mustafa Chom keeping the ball alive. Day Thomas can knock it down, and if you see one go in, you gotta shoot the next one, and that's exactly what he does. An automatic bucket.
We're tied, and Huff can't untie it. But Obiola chases it down. It's still gonna be Cincinnati basketball. Well, if you've ever watched Wes Miller's Bearcats play, you knew they were not going to go into a shell and hide for the rest of this game. Obiola. Here's Lorien. Oh, he went for the reverse jam and had it blocked.
I love the way Lorien attacks the rim. Even though he really hasn't had success tonight, I love the intention.
Here's Sincere Harris, the former Mountaineer, working on Eaglestaff. Somehow found Day. And Day spins and can't hit.
That's great defense right there by Jasper Floyd. Yeah, he bit for the pump fake, but he was still there to be able to contest that shot, which caused Day Thomas to miss.
Now another foul whistled on Jizzle James, his second.
Cincinnati foul call number 2, Jizzle James. It's up his second personal team, second. DJ Thomas checks in for foul.
And now Harris and Chom check out for Wes Miller. Celestine and that man, Tyler McKinley, back on the floor for the Bearcats.
And I like this. I think it's a little strategic by Wes Miller. When Big O goes to the bench, now you put McKinley in the game to battle against the freshman and DJ Thomas.
Eagle staff. Here's Thomas for three.
DJ Thomas.
And
there's my DJ.
That's what he can do. Shooting 60 from the three in the last 2 games. Pick and pop is his bread and butter.
Celestine, short on that three. Weak side rebound to the smallest man on the floor, Honor Huff. And Huff gets the bump. It's going to go on Baba Miller.
You know, I think one reason why Huff is really having a great game is because he's not solely relying on the three, Rich. We talked about it in the open a little bit. What can you do outside of shooting the three? And we've seen him actually look to attack, look to be aggressive. And as a defender, you have to honor that now. No pun intended.
Eagle staff lost the handle. Numbers for the Bearcats.
Good pass.
And McKinley with the finish.
Basketball McKinley.
Once again, Cincinnati not going anywhere. Down by 1. Thomas might have gotten away with a travel. Lorient pushes it up and in. First 2 of the night for 0 and white, Brennan Lorient. Here's Jizzle James, the son of running back Edgerrin James, who I'm sure is very curious to watch the college football semifinals coming up with his Miami Hurricanes in action. Here's DJ Thomas inside this time.
The bigs, the front court of West Virginia, do a tremendous job of playing off 2 feet.
To shoot. It's not a sellout crowd, but it sounds like one. And Celestine silences them.
That's
if only
beautiful.
For a moment.
Rich, that's beautiful. That's textbook. How to move without the basketball. On the drive, if you can relocate, you catch the defense sleeping, and you rise up and knock it down. That is a beautiful exhibition of how to move without the basketball.
Playing in his 125th career game as a collegiate athlete. Jalen Celestine has 3 threes on the night. Here's Floyd, West Virginia up 2. The pocket pass out of bounds, and Tony Padilla says it's Cincinnati basketball with 14:15 to go and a timeout on the floor. Another white knuckle affair in Morgantown.
We're going back and forth. Eagle staff with the dime right there, and Lorient paying it off. And on the flip side, we talk about moving without the basketball. Jalen Celestine, you better know where he is at all times.
And all of college basketball, King.
And you know what's interesting with that? We always talk about the year of the freshmen this year, but in the Big 12, we can't forget about some of the upperclassmen guards. I mean, Milos Uzan. We have Jaden Bradley. I mean, we have some of the best upperclassmen guards in this league as well.
So here's Cincinnati down by 2. They trailed by as many as 13 in the first half. A triple here will give them their first lead of the night. Celestine comes up with nothing but air that time. Honor Huff, number 3 in white for West Virginia. The only player in the game in double figures. Obioha. 10 on the shot clock for the Ears. And Jizzle James will be whistled for his third foul of the night.
And that's the worst right there, Rich. You play 23 seconds of beautiful defense. You don't allow West Virginia to get into anything. And then you bail them out with a foul in the last 7 seconds. That's the worst right there.
And that forces Jizzle James to the bench. The freshman, Keyshawn Tillery, takes his place. Here's Tillery checking Amir Jenkins. Little hostage dribble by Jenkins. Gets it up, can't get it to go, and a foul on the floor.
And that's the problem that Obi Oha can cause when you're dealing with a guy like Chom, who is a great player, but not as physical as Big O down there. So Big O can always get the inside position if Chom isn't really locked in to the defensive glass.
Sounds weird hearing you say Big O against Cincinnati. Bearcats fans very fond of that name. Oscar Robertson, their most famous alumni. And a foul on the ball. That's going to go on the freshman Abayev.
And right here, Rich, in a close game like this, remember this possession. This possession could come back and haunt Cincinnati because you're racking up fouls, and towards the end of a game, especially in one-possession ball games, this could come down to a free throw competition.
Both teams 3 for 7 from the stripe so far tonight. Neither shoots it exceptionally well on the season from the free throw line.
Oh,
what a
my
take!
God.
Dipsy-do, Amir Jenkins.
Oh, split the defense. Up and under with a little bit of jelly right there. Amir Jenkins is nice.
The freshman from Worcester, Massachusetts, extends the West Virginia lead to 4. Abayev, another freshman, and he gets his first bucket of the night. 4 points for Abayev, and we have a 1-point game again.
That's the one thing I love about Abayev, the confidence. He's always looking to shoot the ball. No matter how many times he makes or misses, he always wants to get the rock and let it fly.
Just the 8th Cincinnati signee to be a McDonald's All-American. And a travel on Honor Huff. So here's Keyshawn Tillery with Jizzle James on the bench with 3 fouls. Cincinnati, another chance to take their first lead of the night. Off the hands of Chom.
That was a good read right there by Abayev. Just bad execution.
Jenkins. 12 minutes to go in this one. Jenkins for 3, short. Tillery out to Thomas. And Day-Day misses. Chance Moore with the left hand off the window.
And that right there was just, I want this bucket. It was 1-on-3. Cincinnati had the numbers. But once again, Chance Moore is so hard to stop when he gets a full head of steam.
There's a triple from the freshman Tillery. The 9th different Bearcat to get in the scoring column tonight.
And you can tell, you talk about scouting report, they allowed Tillery to shoot that jumper with no contest. Well, now that he's hit one, you have to adjust.
We now have our 3rd tie of the ball game. Good hands by Day-Day Thomas, but it's going to stay West Virginia basketball. 10:53 to go. Don't go anywhere. It's only the 2nd game of the Big 12 slate, but it means as much as any. First met in 1941, and wouldn't you know it, their radio announcers have deep ties as well. Dan Horde on the left, Tony Caridi on the right. Dan Horde has been the voice of the Bearcats since 2000. Caridi has one-upped his former college mate. 42nd year covering West Virginia sports, his 29th on the radio. They were both born in New York State, both went to Syracuse to earn their chops, and now both mainstays in Big 12 media.
Sheesh.
Chance Moore out of the timeout gets the bucket.
That's a long time in one place, Rich.
We should all be that lucky, King. Those two guys are absolute legends.
They're great at what they do, 100%.
And I know Cincinnati fans and West Virginia fans watching right now might be watching, but they might have the volume turned down listening to their guys call it on the radio. I have no problem with that. Here's Cincinnati off a West Virginia turnover. Chance to take a lead with a triple. 8 for 27 from beyond the arc are the Bearcats. They miss inside the three-point line there from Abayev. Thomas off the mark. And Tillery getting extended burn from Wes Miller with Jizzle James still on the bench with those 3 fouls.
Well, outside of that turnover, he's actually done a really good job.
Yeah.
Controlled the tempo. He's guarded the basketball at a high level. He's earned himself some minutes and some playing time.
Well, Cincinnati has gotten relatively hot from three-point range after starting miserably 3 for 15. West Virginia has made 6 of their last 9, so we came in billing this as a defensive battle, and it has been 47-45, only 9:21 to go, but both offenses showing signs.
And right now, with no Dede Thomas on the floor, Abayev, a guy who looks to be aggressive, is on the bench. I think this is where Jizzle James has to look to be more aggressive, despite him having some struggles early.
Miller off the mark. That's the one flying the ointment in his game. Not a good shooter.
And I think if he was a good shooter, he'd already be in the draft right now.
Moore cleans up his own miss. Back-to-back buckets for Chance Moore. He has a dozen.
He's been so consistent. We talk about finding a second scorer for West Virginia outside of Honor Huff. Chance Moore might be that answer.
Now James, 2 in black, back on the floor playing with those 3 fouls. Cincinnati in a little bit of a drought, coming up on 3 minutes without a bucket. 5 on the timer. James, step back. Off the back iron, offensive rebound, McKinley. Harrison traffic gets fouled and will go to the line.
And that's where you have to stay disciplined. Right there, if you're Eagle staff, you're about 6'6". You have the height advantage. Just wall up. If Sincere Harris knocks that down over you, it's just 2 points. And it's a tough 2 points. So it's not the end of the world, but now you put him on a free throw line and potentially give him an easy 2 points.
So here's Sincere Harris, the former Mountaineer, misses the first free throw. Here's our next ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader, and it should be a great one. Jamal Murray and the Nuggets taking on Jaylen Brown and the Celtics at 7 Eastern. Then Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs hosting Luka and the Lakers. NBA Countdown tips off at 6:30 Eastern. Of course, the Celtics tie into the Mountaineers because Joe Mazzulla, the C's head coach, a former Mountaineer himself,
who's done a phenomenal job with the Celtics.
Talk about a team that has endorsed the three-point shot.
That's the name of the game, Rich. That's the day and age of all basketball.
It is. And the trickle-down effect to the college game. That one out of bounds. It's should be Cincinnati basketball. It looked like it was, at least to me. That's why I'm not an official. And it's West Virginia basketball. .16 on the shot clock for the Mountaineers. They lead by 3, coming up on 8 minutes to go in regulation. Now Floyd, scoreless in the game. Kicks it out, Moore got the 3! Chance Moore, just his 3rd three-pointer of the season, and he's officially on a heater.
And if he can start knocking down those shots, oh my goodness, be on the lookout.
Kickball, it'll stay Cincinnati basketball. How about Chance Moore?
There's a timeout.
9 points in the second half. He's got 15 on the game and his third 3 of the season.
Rich, we got a lot of Big 12 hoops tonight.
It's going to be a good one in Allen Fieldhouse. Never count out an angry and back up against the wall Kansas Jayhawks team. They lost in Orlando to UCF. Darren Peterson was electric when he played. Melvin Council picked up the slack with 20 points in his absence. If they could both get it going at the same time, look out for the Jayhawks.
How good has Melvin Council been? Woo. You know, Melvin Council actually played on the same team with Chance Moore last year at St. Bonaventure. That was a really, really good team.
Out of the timeout, Celestine.
Three-point shot.
His fourth 3 of the night.
And that was a great out of timeout play by Wes Miller. Get the pin down off some false direction, false movement. Get your best shooter a wide open look. Great drop.
This game has been played inside a tight window for most of the night. The lead is 3 now for the Mountaineers. Here's Moore. He's been hot the last few minutes. Can't get that one to go. It's out of bounds. And it's Cincinnati basketball. I feel like I've said this about 100 times. With a 3, they could tie it.
I think we're going to be in for a great ball game in this last 7 minutes.
Bearcats always a tough out, but just 2 and 4 in their last 6 games.
Got to get the ball down low.
Wes Miller telling his team today at practice, you have to play with desperation. Jizzle James steps up and knocks down a 3.
And we love the unselfishness right there by Bob Miller. Yes, he had the advantage down low, but he knew the double was going to come. So if you look opposite, you get a better shot for your shooter who hasn't had a great night. Maybe that gets Jizzle going. Good pass by Miller.
Just our 4th tie of the night. Here's Huff. He's been quiet in the second half. The follow no good. And the Bearcats, in the midst of a 6-0 run, have a chance to get back on top. Celestine again! 5 triples for Jalen Celestine. 81% of his field goal attempts are from beyond the arc, and he shows you why.
Back-to-back trays by Cincinnati. By Bob Miller with the skip pass to Jizzle. And then in transition, Celestine, catch and shoot tray. Cincinnati's looking good right now. It's raining 3s in the second half in Morgantown. And the Cincinnati Bearcats, surprisingly, are the one that's knocking them down from deep. And everybody is chipping into this party. You have Abayev, you have Dede Thomas, you have Celestine. But they're playing an inside-out game, which is allowing Cincinnati to be able to get wide open look after wide open look. And because they're doing it inside out, it makes it that much easier, Rich.
A season-high 15 for Jalen Celestine. A Big 12 veteran, spent last season with the Baylor Bears. At Cal before that. But Celestine has come alive, especially in the second half. 3 triples, and now the Cincinnati Bearcats are the one with a 3-point lead. 55-52, under 6 minutes to go in regulation.
And this is the time you have to assert Honor Huff into the ball game.
Here's Lorian, still with just 2 points on the night. Patience doesn't pay off.
That's not a good look right there. You have to kick that one out if you don't have the advantage.
Here's the hot hand, Celestine. Little arm bar on Huff. Got away with it, but he missed it. Now Eaglestaff for the Mountaineers.
You have to look for Honor Huff. You have to look for Huff right now. It's moments like this where your leading scorer has to be that dude for you.
Only 3 points for number 3 in the second half.
Oh, good defense.
Yeah, a lot of dribbling from Eaglestaff. Now 8 on the shot clock. Huff threw it up, looked for the foul, and nub came. Miller, the lob to Chom.
A very underrated skill of Miller's that we have seen be put on display is his passing. Whether that be in transition, whether that be in the mid-post, throwing out the double. He is an excellent passer.
Had 3 dimes in that loss to Houston. And now West Virginia down by 5, their largest deficit of the evening. 10 on the shot clock. Eaglestaff, the runner. Can't get it to go. Loose ball, Cincinnati basketball. And 2 bigs go down, and Obioha looks like he got the worst of it.
And let's go back to this. Did Huff get the ball on the glass? I don't know. That's not a great look at it. But nonetheless, they counted it as a block. And if you get stops, you can run in transition. Get rewarded. After you get the block, run the lane. Bye-bye, Miller. Great pass.
So the big man for West Virginia, Harlan Obioha, slow to get up, is going to have to go to the bench and get checked on. And now a small lineup for Ross Hodge. His team down 5. Cincinnati in the midst of an 11-zip run. Here's Miller with 10 on the timer. Double teamed in the post. Off the hands of Celestine, out of bounds. The 7th turnover of the night for the Bearcats. It'll be West Virginia basketball when we return. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. Well, that Big 12 basketball game over on ESPN is going to follow this Big 12 basketball game, which is coming down to the wire. Alongside King McClure, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Cincinnati trailed by 13 in the first half, but they have stormed back with 3-point shooting in the second half to take a 5-point lead with 3:49 to go.
Let's go!
Bearcats have led for all of 2.5 minutes in this ball game, but they lead by 5 with 3:45 to go in regulation.
And I like Chance Moore being placed back into this ball game. You need his scoring, you need his driving, but defensively, he provides a lot for you as well.
You certainly want to credit Wes Miller's defense, but Honor Huff, who had, 4 threes in the first half, has been held to just 1 basket in the second half.
Everything's been tough. They've done a really good job knowing where he is at all times, not allowing him to get some of those same clean looks, and they're contesting everything.
Officials are looking at what was a clock issue. They just added 3 seconds to the game clock and a couple of ticks as well on the shot clock. So now 3:48 to go in regulation. Eaglestaff inbounds to Thomas. And here's Honor Huff. Still a game high 19 points, but only 3 of those coming in the second half. A near steal. And Day Thomas is essentially face guarding Huff in the corner. 8 to shoot. Eaglestaff. Out for the 3-point attempt. Off the mark by DJ Thomas.
And that was a good decision right there by Jenkins.
Picked off by Chance Moore. And Moore gets fouled on the floor. West Virginia's in the bonus. Chance Moore will go to the free throw line.
And that turnover right there by Jizzle James, very unnecessary. I mean, you have a two-possession lead with 3 minutes to go. No need to try to rush into forced plays like that unless it's wide open. The clock is your friend when you're up right now.
And while Chance Moore does not shoot it exceptionally well from beyond the arc, he is a reliable free throw shooter. 78% on the season, but he misses the front end there. Coming up on 3 minutes to go in regulation. Cincinnati with the ball up by 5. Trying to build on what has been an 11-0 run to give them this 5-point lead. And what did Wes Miller tell us at practice? Closing games has been the key for this team. Can they close tonight on the road in Morgantown?
And I think right there, another shot that just wasn't good. You have a turnover, then you have a bad shot right there. And in this crucial moment of the game, a bad shot is the same. It's the equivalent to a turnover. And I think that's why Celestine got subbed right there, because every possession matters, especially when they talk about closing the games. Every possession matters.
Now 2.5 to go. Here's Thomas. Now Huff. He's looking for a shot. He gets it off, and he gets it to go. A worst-case scenario for Cincinnati. The best shooter on the floor knocks down a triple and has a free throw coming.
Wow. Honor, Huff. Game on the line. What do? You step up to the plate. You get an and 1-3. This is just a big shot by a big-time player. And he definitely got fouled. Day Thomas, you know better than that.
In and out for Huff. So he has 22, and it's still a 2-point game coming up on 2 minutes to go in regulation. Timeout, Wes Miller. Bearcats have 2 timeouts remaining. West Virginia with 2 remaining as well. Possession arrow to West Virginia. And the Mountaineers are in the bonus with fouls to give. Only 2 team fouls from the Mountaineers so far. Well, these 2 teams, no stranger to close contests. All you have to do is go back to last March. These 2 teams on this same floor. West Virginia led by 9 with 34 seconds left, and then Dan Skillings gets a 3, a turnover, and another 3 to cut the West Virginia lead to just 3. They actually had a chance to win it with time running out, and the 3-pointer fell short. 62-59, West Virginia wins it. Can Cincinnati exact some comeback revenge tonight? Take us inside the huddles, King.
Well, right now, I feel like if you're Cincinnati, you have to draw up something for Day Thomas. He's been your best player all season. He's the guy who, when you talk about they don't have a scorer, they don't have a go-to guy, he's the guy that I would rely on, but not necessarily to score the ball, Rich, to be able to get into the paint and to facilitate and create a play for his teammate. So between him or Baba Miller, Baba Miller has 6 assists. The ball could go to either one of those, but look for those guys to be able to facilitate.
Wes Miller had 1 word for his team at shoot-around this morning. Finish. Now his Bearcats have a chance to do that. Up 2 on the road, under 2 minutes to go in regulation. Celestine, 5 triples tonight. This time from inside 3-point range. Off the mark, and West Virginia with a chance to tie or take the lead.
And I don't love that look. You put Celestine in a very tough position.
Here's Huff, looking for any kind of airspace. Kicks it out to Jenkins. 8 on the shot clock, Eagle staff. 5 to shoot. Nowhere to go for Tyson Eagle staff. he hits the three. Is deafening inside the Hope Coliseum after this prayer is answered by Trayson Eaglestaff.
Nowhere to go. You pick up your dribble. I thought this was a bad decision. Celestine is the worst defender. Dede Thomas is the better defender. But when you have the height advantage, you can turn around, and Eaglestaff, he's no stranger to getting buckets, Rich, in big moments.
Trayson Eaglestaff came over from North Dakota to Morgantown, known as a scoring savant. He showed that preternatural ability just now in the clutchest of moments. West Virginia back on top by 1. 51.9 to go. And now it is Cincinnati's turn to come up with a clutch bucket. They have not scored in the last 3 minutes and 55 seconds. They were tied at 60 apiece against Houston in the final 4 minutes and couldn't score in that game. Here's Miller. 5 on the shot clock. For 3, short. Loose ball, who wants it? And it's going to be West Virginia basketball.
What a terrible shot. What an absolutely terrible shot right there. Bob Miller, a guy who's not known to knock it down from 3. Shooting a step back contested. That's the shot you want right there if you're Wes Miller.
And what a save by the freshman Amir Jenkins. 3 different Mountaineers hit the deck for that 50-50 ball. West Virginia in the bonus with possession. Each team has 1 timeout left, and the Mountaineers still have 4 fouls to give. The drought has been extended over 4 minutes for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Let's go back to that shot by Eaglestaff. We have to take another look at it because this is just so incredible, so high level, so tough. The concentration that it takes in the biggest of moments to be able to knock this down. Eaglestaff hasn't been good in high major games. Well, tonight, he is changing that narrative.
He had 6 points on the road at Iowa State in his first Big 12 game. He has 8 points tonight, averaging 9.1 on the season. That's well below what the nation has become used to when you hear the name Trayson Eaglestaff. He had 2 40-point games last year for North Dakota, including a 51-point outfit against South Dakota State last year. The only Division I player with multiple 40-point efforts a year ago, but no bigger shot in Trayson Eaglestaff's career than the one you just saw against Cincinnati.
So right now, Rich, if you're Cincinnati, with 34.9, 35 seconds to go in this ball game, you do not have to foul immediately. You can try to go for the steal, try to cause a turnover, but you don't have to foul immediately.
The officials are reviewing something at the scorer's table as we speak. Tony Padilla, Brett Smith, and Paul Sells. And it might be a timing issue again. And yes, they will add at least 1 second back to the clock. So they did add time. There's 35 seconds left in regulation and 28 on the shot clock.
And you could play this out. You could. Theoretically, when you look at the time difference, you could try to play this out. However, I don't love that idea. I think when it gets to about 15 on the game clock, if you haven't caused a turnover, you need to foul. I wouldn't play this out.
West Virginia's got to go the full 94, full court pressure from the Bearcats. Huff gets it in to Lorient. And now Eaglestaff. No foul yet from Cincinnati. And now it's in the right man's hands. Honor Huff, number 3 in white. And there's the foul from Jizzle James, his 4th.
And that's good right there. That's what you wanted, right? Maybe you wanted the ball in a different player's hands and not Honor Huff, but you tried to get the steal. Wes Miller wanted to trap in the half court with Bob Miller. You really couldn't get to it, but the foul right there is not the worst thing. If Honor Huff makes both of these free throws, it's still a one-possession game.
So now it's double bonus time for West Virginia. One and one for Honor Huff. 2 for 4 from the free throw line tonight, but he made that one when it counted most. 23 points for Huff, one shy of his season high. West Virginia still with fouls to give. A season high tying 24 for Honor Huff.
You don't need a 3. You can go for a quick 2.
Thomas misses. Eaglestaff comes away with it. And an immediate foul with 11.4 left.
And this is what Wes Miller was referring to when he talks about closing out games. We've seen bad possessions from Cincinnati multiple times down the stretch. Look how much time is left right here. This is not the best shot that you can get. You still have about 13 seconds to try to get a better one. And honestly, in that scenario, you really could have got a quick 2. But that's not a good look. And you just put yourself in a really, really tough bind right now.
Eaglestaff makes the first to make it a 4-point lead for West Virginia.
And in the last 2-3 minutes, Rich, it's just not been good execution by Cincinnati, on the offensive side at least.
And an immediate foul by Jenkins on Jizzle James. Just the 3rd team foul for West Virginia in the second half. Wes Miller's Bearcats stay on the road. They'll go to Orlando to take on UCF, who is now ranked 25th in the nation. That game on Sunday. Saturday, the West Virginia Mountaineers welcome in the Kansas Jayhawks. This place will be lit, as the kids said. And another foul.
West Virginia foul, goal number 2, Amir Jenkins. That's his 3rd.
And right now you see West Virginia fouling because they don't want, whatever Wes Miller called, they don't want to allow Cincinnati to be able to get into whatever offensive set that Wes Miller called. I like the strategy right there by Ross Hodge.
So the Bearcats are out of timeouts. 1 timeout remaining for Ross Hodge to call. Possession arrow still remains with West Virginia. So what do you do if you're Wes Miller with your team trailing by 5 and time is clearly of the essence?
Well, it's a 2-possession game, whichever way you cut it, but you go for a quick 3. That's what you have to do right now. You have to go for a quick 3 within about 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Get a foul, hope they miss one, and then just wish for the best after that. But you need a quick 3 right now.
And they've been incredibly effective from 3 in the second half. Yeah. 8 for 18 from beyond the arc. But it might be too little too late for these Bearcats.
And if you're Wes Miller and you happen to lose this ball game, this is one that hurts because you played so well offensively in the second half. You played well enough to win, but late game execution just wasn't there.
West Virginia rose up when it needed to in the midst of a 10-0 run, and it's a 4-minute and 40-second scoring drought for Cincinnati until that three. And West Virginia can inbound the ball with 3.2 left.
Best case scenario, you got a three with about 2 to 3 seconds. You have to foul.
They nearly turn it over with 1.9 to go. So the Bearcats still with a puncher's chance, 1.9 on the clock. And West Virginia's got to inbound it under their own basket. Final timeout called by the Mountaineers.
And right here, if I'm West Virginia, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw something long. Get something on the opposite side of the floor because you struggled a little bit trying to inbound in the backcourt. So I wouldn't be surprised if you try to throw something long, maybe get a tip, maybe throw it in the air or something. But if you get the ball long, I think that might be your best case scenario with what we just saw.
With under 2 minutes to go, the officials are reviewing the clock yet again. This is the third time they've done that. Let's take a look after that three by Jizzle James.
And right here, when you put Baba Miller on the ball, with his athleticism and his length, he makes it extremely tough. So you really don't get any clean looks to be able to inbound the basketball, especially that low. And we saw what happened last year. We saw how Cincinnati was able to get those steals when you try to inbound the ball in the half court, in the backcourt. So I would try to get the ball long.
Immediately following this game, we'll send you to Texas, Tennessee. Carl Ravitch and Jimmy Dykes standing by with that one. Shades of last year when Wes Miller and the Bearcats had a shot to win it. But now they're going to need a steal to get a shot to try to win this game.
And the key to this is whoever the inbounder is, they have to take a step back. You cannot be all up on the line. You have to be able to create a little bit of separation if they're putting Baba Miller on the basketball.
And Wes Miller and Ross Hodge, for his part, both getting some extra time to talk to their team, with the official spending an extended amount of time at the scores table. So they have taken one tick off the clock. There's 1.8 to go. Last time in this situation, it was Honor Huff doing the inbounds for West Virginia. Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Jasper Floyd's going to do the honors. And the Bearcat with the longest arms, Baba Miller, is going to be guarding that inbounds. They need a steal and a miracle three to try to win this one. A two could send it to overtime.
With the way Day-Day Thomas is guarding Amir Jenkins, I would send Amir Jenkins long for the touchdown pass.
All you have to do is touch the ball.
Yeah, all you got to do is touch it.
Here's Jasper Floyd. 1.9 to go. They tried for it. Here's James for the win! The backboard. They had a shot, but it was too strong. And West Virginia holds on for another thrilling victory over the Cincinnati Bearcats.
And Baba Miller makes it tough. Jasper Floyd did a good job of backing up. They tried to go for the home run pass, but Jizzle James got the steal.
West Virginia has won 8 of their last 10 against the Bearcats, including tonight, a 2-point win at home. For King McClure, I'm Rich Hallenberg. Now to Carl Ravitch and Jimmy Dykes, Texas and Tennessee.